Welcome back to Footnotes and Folly, and to As You Like It. I am Pemberton. This is part 2, and we are deep in the forest of Arden, our green world of shepherds, sons, exiled lords, and idleness, where everyone has time to fall in love and talk about it endlessly. Here we meet the melancholy Jacks, who looks at all this happiness and delivers the most famous speech in the play All the World's a Stage, and all the men and women merely play as the 7 ages of man, from squalling infant to second childhood. And here the central comedy begins. Orlando wanders the wood, hanging terrible lump poems to Rosalind on every tree, never dreaming that the cheeky young shepherd boy Ganymede he keeps meeting is Rosalind herself, who, hidden in her disguise, offers to cure him of his love by making him woo her as if she were his Rosalind. It is the most delicious flirtation in all of Shakespeare. Let us go on.
Rosalind enters disguised as Ganymede, with Celia disguised as Aliena and Touchstone. Oh Jupiter, my spirits are so tired. I do not care about my spirits, if only my legs were not tired. I could almost disgrace my man's clothes by crying like a woman, but I must comfort the weaker vessel, since doublet and hose ought to show courage to a petticoat. So take heart, good Aliena. Please bear with me. I cannot go any farther. For my part, I would rather bear with you than carry you. Yet carrying you would be no cross to bear, for I think you have no money in your purse. Well, this is the forest of Arden. Yes, now I am in Arden, and the more fool I. When I was at home I was in a better place, but travellers must be content. Corin and Silvius enter. Yes, be content, good Touchstone. Look, who is coming here? A young man and an old one in serious talk. That is the way to make her keep scorning you. Oh, Corin, if only you knew how much I love her. I can partly guess, for I have loved before now. No, Corin, being old, you cannot guess, though in your youth you may have been as true a lover as any who ever sighed into a midnight pillow. But if your love was ever like mine, and I am sure no man ever loved so much, how many utterly ridiculous things were you driven to by your imagination? 1,000 that I have forgotten. And you never loved with all your heart. If you do not remember the smallest foolishness that love ever made you commit, you have not loved. Or if you have not sat as I do now, wearing out your listener with praise of your mistress, you have not loved. Or if you have not suddenly broken away from company, as my passion makes me do now, you have not loved. Oh, Phoebe. Silvius exits. Alas, poor shepherd! In probing your wound, by harsh chance I have discovered my own. And I mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword on a stone, and told it to take that for coming at night to Jane's smile. I remember kissing her washing bat, and the cow's udders that her pretty chapped hands had milked. I remember courting a peapod instead of her. I took 2 peas from it, gave them back to her, and said through tears, were these for my sake? We true lovers get into strange antics. But as everything in nature is mortal, so everything natural in love is mortal in folly. You speak more wisely than you know. No, I will never know my own wit until I break my shins against it. Jove, this shepherd's passion is very much like my own. And mine, though it has grown somewhat stale with me. Please, one of you ask that man over there whether, for gold, he will give us any food. I am faint almost to death. Hey there, clown. He's fool. He is not your kinsman. Who calls? Your betters, sir. Then they must be very wretched. Peace, I say. Good evening to you, friend. And to you, gentle sir, and to you all. Please, shepherd, if either love or gold can buy hospitality in this wild place, bring us somewhere we may rest ourselves and eat. Here is a young maid, much worn by travel, who is faint and needs help. Fair sir, I pity her, and for her sake more than my own, I wish my fortune were better able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man, and I do not own the fleeces I graze. My master is a harsh-natured man, and cares little about finding the way to heaven by acts of hospitality. Besides, his cottage, his flocks, and his grazing land are now for sale, and at our sheepcote now, because he is away, there is nothing you would want to eat. But come see what there is, and with my voice you shall be most welcome. Who is to buy his flock and pasture? That young shepherd you saw here just now, who cares little about buying anything. Please, if it can be done honestly, buy the cottage, the pasture, and the flock yourself, and we will give you the money to pay for it. And we will improve your wages. I like this place, and could willingly spend my time in it. Certainly the thing is to be sold. Come with me. If after hearing the report, you like the soil, the profit, and this way of life, I will be your very faithful feeder, and with your gold I will buy it at once. They exit. Elsewhere in the forest, Amiens, Jacks, and others enter. Under the greenwood tree, whoever loves to lie with me and turn his cheerful tune to match the sweet bird's throat, come here, come here, come here. Here he shall see no enemy except winter and rough weather. More, please, more. It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacks. I thank you for that. More, please, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, please, more. My voice is rough. I know I cannot please you. I do not want you to please me. I want you to sing. Come, more, another stanza. Is that what you call them, stanzas? Whatever you like, Monsieur Jacks. No, I do not care about their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing? More at your request than for my own pleasure. Well then, if I ever thank any man, I will thank you. But what people call courtesy is like the meeting of two baboons, and when a man thanks me heartily, it seems to me I have given him a penny, and he pays me back with beggarly thanks. Come sing, and those of you who will not, hold your tongues. Well, I will finish the song. Sirs, set the table meanwhile. The Duke will drink under this tree. He has spent all day looking for you, and I have spent all day avoiding him. He is too argumentative for my company. I think about as many matters as he does, but I thank heaven and make no brag of them. Come, warble, come. Whoever shuns ambition and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets, come here, come here, come here. Here he shall see no enemy except winter and rough weather. I will give you a verse to that tune, one I made yesterday in spite of my invention, and I will sing it. This is how it goes. If it happens that any man turns ass, leaving his wealth and ease to please a stubborn will, duck dame, duck dame, duck dame. Here he shall see gross fools like himself, if he will come to me. What is that, duck dame? It is a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I will go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I will rail against all the first born of Egypt. And I will go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared. They exit separately. Orlando and Adam enter another part of the forest. Dear master, I can go no farther. Oh, I am dying for lack of food. Here I lie down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master. What is this, Adam? Have you no more courage than that? Live a little longer. Take comfort a little longer. Cheer yourself a little longer. If this wild forest holds any savage creature, I will either become food for it or bring it back as food for you. Your imagination is closer to death than your strength is. For my sake, take heart. Hold death off at arm's length for a while. I will come back to you very soon, and if I do not bring you something to eat, I will give you permission to die. But if you die before I return, you make a mockery of my labor. Good, that is right. You look more cheerful, and I will be with you quickly. Yet you are lying in the cold air. Come, I will carry you to some shelter, and you shall not die for lack of a dinner if anything living can be found in this wilderness. Cheer up, good Adam. They exit. Duke Senior enters with Amiens and lords, dressed as outlaws, in another part of the forest. I think he must have changed into a beast, for I can find nothing manlike in him anywhere. My lord, he has only just gone from here. He was merry here a moment ago, listening to a song. If he, who is made of discord, has become musical, we shall soon have disorder in the heavens. Go find him. Tell him I want to speak with him. Jax enters. He saves me the trouble by coming himself. Well now, monsieur, what kind of life is this that your poor friends must beg for your company? Why, you look cheerful. A fool, a fool. I met a fool in the forest, a fool in motley. What a wretched world. As surely as I live by food, I met a fool who had lain down to bask in the sun and was scolding Lady Fortune in fine, formal phrases, and yet he was a motley fool. Good morning, fool, said I. No, sir, said he, do not call me fool until heaven has sent me fortune. Then he pulled a sundial from his pocket, looked at it with a dull eye, and said very wisely, It is 10 o'clock. So we may see how the world moves. Only an hour ago it was 9, and after one more hour it will be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripen and ripen, and then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and there hangs a tale. When I heard this motley fool moralize about time, my lungs crowed like a rooster. To think that fools should be so deeply thoughtful. I laughed without stopping for an hour by his dial. O noble fool! Worthy fool! Motley is the only wear. What fool is this? O worthy fool! One who has been a courtier, and who says that if ladies are young and fair, they have the gift of knowing it. In his brain, which is as dry as a leftover biscuit after a sea voyage, he has packed strange corners full of observations, which he pours out in mangled shapes. Oh, if only I were a fool! I long for a motley coat. You shall have one. That is the only suit I ask, provided you weed from your better judgments any rank opinion that I am wise. I must have liberty too, a charter as wide as the wind to blow on whomever I please, for that is what fools have. And those who are most rubbed raw by my folly must laugh the most. And why, sir, must they? The reason is as plain as the road to the parish church. A man whom a fool has very wisely struck would be very foolish, though he felt the sting, if he seemed not to notice the blow. Otherwise, the wise man's folly is laid open by the fool's stray glances. Dress me in motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will cleanse, through and through, the foul body of this infected world, if only they will patiently take my medicine. Shame on you. I know what you would do. What for a trifle would I do except good? You would commit a most mischievous sin by rebuking sin, for you yourself have been a libertine, as sensual as brutal appetite itself. All the swollen sores and ripened evils you caught while running freely wherever you pleased, you would vomit out upon the whole world. Why, who cries out against pride in a way that can accuse any one private person? Does pride not swell as hugely as the sea, until the very means that feed it grow weary and ebb away? What woman in the city do I name when I say the city woman carries the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can step forward and say I mean her, when someone like her has neighbors just the same? Or what low-born man can say that my attack is aimed at his finery, thinking I mean him, unless by doing so he fits his folly to the temper of my speech. There then. How then? What then? Show me where my tongue has wronged him. If it describes him truly, then he has wronged himself. If he is free of the fault, then my criticism flies by like a wild goose, claimed by no one. But who comes here? Orlando enters with his sword drawn. Stop and eat no more. Why, I have eaten none yet. Nor shall you until necessity has been served. What breed of rooster is this? Are you made so bold, man, by your distress? Or are you a rude despiser of good manners, that you seem so empty of civility? You struck the truth at first. The sharp thorn of bare distress has stripped from me the appearance of smooth civility. Yet I was bred inland, and I know some manners. But keep back, I say. Anyone who touches this food dies, until I and my needs have been answered. If you will not be answered with reason, then I must die. What do you want? Your gentleness will compel us to kindness more than your force can. I am nearly dead for want of food. Let me have it. Sit down and eat, and be welcome at our table. Do you speak so gently? Pardon me, I beg you. I thought everything here was savage, and so I put on the face of stern command. But whoever you are, who in this inaccessible wilderness, under the shade of melancholy branches, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if you have ever looked on better days, if you have ever been where bells rang people to church, if you have ever sat at a good man's feast, if you have ever wiped a tear from your eyelids, and know what it is to pity and to be pitied, let your gentleness answer my strong demand. In that hope I blush and hide my sword. It is true that we have seen better days, and have been called to church by holy bells, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped from our eyes the drops that sacred pity brought forth. Therefore sit down gently, and command whatever help we have that can serve your need. Then only hold back from your food a little while I, like a doe, go to find my fawn and give it food. There is a poor old man who has limped many weary steps after me out of pure love. Until he is first satisfied, oppressed by two weak evils, age and hunger, I will not touch a bite. Go find him, and we will waste nothing until you return. I thank you, and may you be blessed for your kind comfort. Orlando exits. You see that we are not the only unhappy ones. This wide, universal theatre presents more sorrowful pageants than the scene in which we play our part. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First comes the infant, whimpering and vomiting in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. Then the lover, sighing like a furnace, with a sorrowful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like a leopard, jealous of honor, sudden and quick to quarrel, seeking the bubble called reputation even in the cannon's mouth. Then the judge, with a fine round belly lined with good capon, stern eyes and a formal, cut beard, full of wise sayings and fashionable examples, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean, slippered old pantaloon, with spectacles on his nose and a pouch at his side. The stockings he saved from youth are far too wide for his shrunken legs, and his big manly voice, turning back toward a childish treble, pipes and whistles in its sound. The last scene of all, which ends the strange eventful history, is second childhood and pure forgetfulness, without teeth, without eyes, without taste, without everything. Orlando enters, carrying Adam. Welcome. Set down your venerable burden, and let him eat. I thank you most on his behalf. You well may need to. I can hardly speak to thank you for myself. Welcome. Begin eating. I will not trouble you yet with questions about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousins sing. A song begins. Blow, blow, winter wind, you are not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Your bite is not so sharp because you are not seen, though your breath is rough. Hey, ho, sing hey, ho to the green holly. Most friendship is pretending, most loving is mere folly. Then hey, oh the holly. This life is most merry. Freeze, freeze, bitter sky, you do not bite so near as benefits forgotten. Though you warp the waters with ice, your sting is not so sharp as a friend who does not remember. Hey, ho, sing hey, ho to the green holly. Most friendship is pretending, most loving is mere folly. Then hey, oh, the holly. This life is most merry. If you are good Sir Roland's son, as you have faithfully whispered that you are, and as my eye sees his likeness truly drawn and living in your face, then you are truly welcome here. I am the Duke who loved your father. Come to my cave and tell me the rest of your fortune. Good old man, you are as welcome as your master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me understand all your fortunes. They all exit. Duke Frederick enters with lords and Oliver in a room in the palace. You have not seen him since? Sir, that cannot be. If mercy did not rule the better part of me, I would not look for an absent target for my revenge while you stand here before me. But take care, find your brother wherever he is. Search for him by candlelight if you must. Bring him to me, dead or alive, within 12 months, or never come back to make a living anywhere in my territory. Your lands, and everything you call your own that is worth seizing, I now take into my hands, until your brother's own words can clear you of what I suspect against you. Oh, if your highness only knew my heart in this! I never loved my brother in my life. That makes you all the more a villain. Well, drive him out. Let my officers of the proper kind place a formal seizure on his house and lands. Do it quickly and send him on his way. They all leave. Orlando enters with a paper. Hang there, my verse as witness to my love. And you, three-crowned queen of night, look down with your pure eye from your pale sphere above upon the name of your huntress, the name that rules my whole life. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and on their bark I will write my thoughts, so that every eye that looks through this forest shall see your virtue praised everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the one beyond all words. Orlando exits. Corin and Touchstone enter. And how do you like the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone? Honestly, shepherd, considered in itself, it is a good life, but considered as a shepherd's life, it is worthless. Because it is solitary, I like it very well, but because it is private, it is a vile life. Because it is lived in the fields, it pleases me, but because it is not at court, it is tedious. Since it is a plain, spare life, it suits my mood well enough, but since there is so little abundance in it, it goes strongly against my appetite. Have you any philosophy in you, shepherd? Only this. I know that the sicker a man grows, the worse he feels, that a man who lacks money, means, and contentment is without 3 good friends, that rain wets and fire burns, that good pasture makes fat sheep, that one great cause of night is the lack of sun, and that anyone who has learned no wit either from nature or from education may blame his upbringing, or else he comes from a very dull family. Such a man is a natural philosopher. Were you ever at court, shepherd? No, truly. Then you are damned. No, I hope not. Truly, you are damned like a badly roasted egg, cooked all on one side. For not having been at court? Give me your reason. Why, if you were never at court, you never saw good manners. If you never saw good manners, then your manners must be wicked. Wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. You are in a dangerous condition, shepherd. Not at all, Touchstone. What counts as good manners at court is as ridiculous in the country as country behavior is laughable at court. You told me that at court people greet one another by kissing their hands. That courtesy would be unclean if courtiers were shepherds. Give an example briefly. Come, give an example. Why, we are always handling our ewes, and their wool, as you know, is greasy. Why, do courtiers' hands not sweat? And is not the grease of mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow. Give me a better example. Come. Besides, our hands are hard. Then your lips would feel them all the sooner. Shallow again. A sounder example. Come. And our hands are often smeared with the tar we use to treat our sheep. Would you have us kiss tar? Courtiers' hands are perfumed with civet. Most shallow man. Compared with a good piece of flesh, you are food for worms. Learn from the wise and consider. Civet is of baser birth than tar, the foul discharge of a cat. Improve your example, shepherd. Your wit is too courtly for me. I will stop. Will you stop while damned? God help you, shallow man. May God cut into you. You are still raw. Sir, I am an honest laborer. I earn what I eat, get what I wear, owe no man hatred, envy no man's happiness, rejoice in other men's good fortune, and am content with my own troubles. The greatest pride I have is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suckle. That is another simple sin in you, bringing ewes and rams together and trying to make your living from the coupling of cattle, acting as a go-between for a bellwether, and betraying a year-old ewe lamb to a crooked-headed, old, cuckoldly ram, all out of any reasonable match. If you are not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see how else you could escape. Rosalind enters as Ganymede. Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother. From the east to the western Indies, no jewel equals Rosalind. Her worth, carried on the wind, spreads Rosalind through all the world. The fairest painted faces are dark beside Rosalind. Let no face be remembered except the fair face of Rosalind. I could rhyme like that for 8 years together, excepting dinners, suppers, and sleeping hours. It is the very jog-trot of butter women going to market. Away, fool! Here is a taste. If a stag lacks a doe, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat follows its nature, so surely will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, and so must slender Rosalind. Those who reap must bind their sheaves, then cart them off with Rosalind. The sweetest nut has the sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He who would find the sweetest rose must find love's thorn, and Rosalind. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them? Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree. Truly the tree bears bad fruit. I will graft you onto it, and then I shall graft it with a medlar. Then it will be the earliest fruit in the country, because you will be rotten before you are half ripe, which is the proper virtue of the medlar. You have spoken, whether wisely or not, let the forest judge. Celia enters as Eliana reading a paper. Peace, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside. Why should this be a desert? Because it is unpeopled? No. I will hang tongues on every tree, and they shall speak civilized sayings. some on how short the life of man is as he wanders through his erring pilgrimage, and how the measure of a handspin contains the whole sum of his age, some on broken vows between the souls of friend and friend. But on the fairest branches, or at the end of every sentence, I will write Rosalinda, teaching all who read to know the quintessence of every spirit that heaven could show in miniature. Therefore heaven charged nature to fill one body with all graces widely enlarged. Nature at once distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's best part, and sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind, made of many parts, was devised by heavenly counsel to have the most precious touches of many faces, eyes, and hearts. Heaven willed that she should have these gifts, and that I should live and die her slave. O most gentle Jupiter, what a tedious sermon of love you have worn out your congregation with, and never once cried, "Have patience, good people." What now? Stand back, friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, fellow. Come, shepherd, let us make an honourable retreat, if not with bag and baggage, then at least with scrip and scrippage. Corin and Touchstone exit. Did you hear those verses? Oh yes, I heard them all, and more besides, for some of them had more feet than the verses could carry. That does not matter. The feet might carry the verses. Yes, but the feet were lame and could not carry themselves without the verse, and therefore they stood lamely in the verse. But did you hear without wondering how your name came to be hung and carved upon these trees? I was 7 of the 9 days past wondering before you came, for look here what I found on a palm tree. I have never been so covered in rhymes since Pythagoras' time, when I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember. Do you guess who has done this? Is it a man? And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Are you changing color? Please, who is it? Oh Lord, Lord, it is hard for friends to meet, but mountains may be moved by earthquakes and so come together. No, but who is it? Is it possible? No, please now, with the most pleading urgency, tell me who it is. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, most wonderfully wonderful, and then wonderful again, and after that beyond all shouting. It's my complexion. Do you think that because I am dressed like a man, I have a man's patience sewn into my doublet and hose? One more inch of delay is an ocean of discovery. Please tell me who it is quickly and speak fast. I wish you could stammer, so this hidden man would pour out of your mouth like wine from a narrow-necked bottle, either too much at once or none at all. Please pull the cork from your mouth so I may drink in your news. Then you may put a man into your belly. Is he made by God? What sort of man is he? Is his head worth a hat or his chin worth a beard? No, he has only a little beard. Well, God will send him more if the man is grateful. Let me wait for his beard to grow only if you do not make me wait to know whose chin it is. It is young Orlando, the one who threw the wrestler on his heels and your heart after him in the same instant. No more teasing or the devil take it. Speak with a serious face and as a truthful maid. Truly, cousin, it is he. Orlando. Orlando. Alas, what shall I do with my doublet and hose? What was he doing when you saw him? What did he say? How did he look? What was he wearing? What brings him here? Did he ask for me? Where is he staying? How did he part from you? When will you see him again? Answer me in one word. You must lend me Gargan to his mouth first. That is a word too large for any mouth of this age. To answer yes and no to all those details would be harder than answering a catechism. But does he know I am in this forest dressed as a man? Does he look as fresh as he did on the day he wrestled? It is as easy to count specks of dust as to settle a lover's questions. But take a taste of how I found him, and savor it carefully. I found him under a tree, like a fallen acorn. Then, it may well be called Jove's tree when it drops such fruit. Listen to me, good madam. Go on. There he lay, stretched out like a wounded knight. Though such a sight is pitiful, it suits the ground beautifully. Hollow to your tongue, please. It is prancing at the wrong time. He was dressed like a hunter. Oh, ominous. He has come to kill my heart. I would sing my song without your refrain. You keep throwing me out of tune. Do you not know I am a woman? When I think I must speak. Sweet, go on. Orlando and Jax enter. You have put me off. Quiet, is he not coming here? It is he. Slip aside and watch him. Rosalind and Celia step aside. I thank you for your company, but honestly, I would just as soon have been alone. So would I, yet for courtesy's sake I thank you too for your company. God be with you. Let us meet as little as we can. I do hope we may become better strangers. Please spoil no more trees by carving love songs into their bark. Please spoil no more of my verses by reading them so badly. Rosalind is the name of your love? Yes, exactly. I do not like her name. No one thought of pleasing you when she was christened. How tall is she? Just as high as my heart. You are full of pretty answers. Have you been keeping company with goldsmiths' wives and memorizing sayings from rings? No, but I answer you in the style of painted cloths from which you seem to have learned your questions. You have a nimble wit. I think it was made from Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me? We two will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery. I will scold no living person in the world but myself, against whom I know the most faults. The worst fault you have is being in love. It is a fault I would not trade for your best virtue. I am tired of you. By my faith, I was looking for a fool when I found you. He is drowned in the brook. Look in, and you will see him. There I will see my own reflection, which I take to be either a fool or a zero. I will stay with you no longer. Farewell, good Signor Love. I am glad you are leaving. Farewell, good Monsieur Melancholy. Jacques exits. Celia and Rosalind come forward. I will speak to him like an impudent page, and in this disguise play the rogue with him. Do you hear me, Forester? Very well. What do you want? Please, what time is it? You should ask what time of day it is. There is no clock in the forest. Then there is no true lover in the forest, otherwise his sighing every minute and groaning every hour would reveal the lazy foot of time as well as any clock. Why not the swift foot of time? Would that not be just as proper? By no means, sir. Time travels at different speeds with different people. I will tell you whom time ambles with, whom time trots with, whom time gallops with, and whom he stands still with. Please, whom does he trot with? Why, he trots hard with a young woman between the signing of her marriage contract and the day the wedding is solemnized. If the wait is only a week, time's pace is so harsh that it seems 7 years long. Whom does time amble with? With a priest who lacks Latin and a rich man who does not have the gout. The one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. One lacks the burden of lean, wasting learning, and the other knows no burden of heavy, tedious poverty. With these time ambles. Whom does he gallop with? With a thief on the way to the gallows, for though he walks as softly as a foot can fall, he thinks he is arriving there too soon. With whom does time stand still? With lawyers in vacation, for they sleep between court terms, and then they do not notice how time moves. Where do you live, pretty youth? With this shepherdess, my sister, here on the edge of the forest, like fringe on a petticoat. Were you born in this place? As much as the rabbit you see lives where she was kindled. Your accent is finer than you could have acquired in so remote a dwelling. Many people have told me so, but in truth an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. In his youth he lived inland and knew courtly manners too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him give many lectures against love, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be struck by all the dizzy faults he generally charged against the whole sex. Can you remember any of the chief evils he laid to women's charge? There were no chief ones. They were all alike, like halfpennies. Each fault seemed monstrous until its fellow fault came to match it. Please recount some of them. No. I will not throw away my medicine except on those who are sick. There is a man haunting the forest who abuses our young trees by carving Rosalind into their bark, hanging odes on hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all, forsooth, worshipping the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that dealer in fantasies, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have love's daily fever on him. I am the man so shaken by love. Please tell me your remedy. You show none of my uncle's signs. He taught me how to recognize a man in love, and I am sure you are not imprisoned in that cage of rushes. What were his signs? A thin hollow cheek, which you do not have, a blue and sunken eye, which you do not have, a spirit beyond questioning, which you do not have, a neglected beard, which you do not have, though I forgive you that, since a younger brother has little enough income to spend on a beard. Then your stockings should be loose, your cap without its band, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you should show careless ruin and desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather perfectly neat in your clothing, as if you loved yourself more than you seem to love anyone else. Fair youth, I wish I could make you believe that I am in love. Make me believe it? You might more easily make the woman you love believe it, and I guarantee she is readier to believe it than to confess she does. That is one of the points on which women still lie to their own consciences. But truly, are you the man who hangs verses on the trees, where Rosalind is praised so highly? I swear to you, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that man, that unlucky man. But are you as deeply in love as your rhymes say you are? Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much. Love is simply a madness, and I tell you it deserves a dark room and a whip just as madmen do. The reason lovers are not punished and cured that way is that the lunacy is so common that the men with the whips are in love too. Still, I claim I can cure it with advice. Did you ever cure anyone that way? Yes, one man, and in this fashion. He had to imagine that I was his love, his mistress, and I made him woo me every day. Then I, being only a moody youth, would grieve, act delicate, change by the hour, want and refuse, grow proud, fanciful, foolish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, feeling something for every passion and truly nothing for any passion, as boys and women are mostly creatures of that color. I would like him now and hate him next, welcome him, then renounce him, weep for him, then spit at him. I drove my suitor from his mad humor of love into a living humor of madness, until he swore off the full stream of the world, and went to live in a little corner like a monk. That is how I cured him, and in the same way I will undertake to wash your liver as clean as a healthy sheep's heart, so there will not be one spot of love left in it. I would not wish to be cured, youth. I would cure you, if only you would call me Rosalind and come every day to my cottage and woo me. Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is. Come with me to it, and I will show it to you, and on the way you shall tell me where you live in the forest. Will you go? With all my heart, good youth. No, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go? They exit.
And there we pause again. Rosalind, safe behind her disguise, is having the time of her life teaching the man she adores how to love her, while he has no idea he is talking to the real thing. But the wood is filling up with other lovers too, sensible and silly, and the tangle is growing. Next time, in part 3, the country wedding, a love-struck shepherdess who falls for the wrong person, and a marriage that is only pretend, or is it? Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.